The single biggest mistake I see players make with water-type Pokemon is thinking they all do the same thing. You catch a water type, teach it Surf, and assume the job is done. Water is one of the most common types in Pokemon with a huge variety of species, and treating them all like interchangeable Surf bots is throwing away wins you should be getting. Blastoise is a defensive spinner. Gyarados is a physical Dragon Dance sweeper. Greninja is a fast special attacker with type-changing abilities. Swampert is a bulky ground type with only one weakness. These Pokemon could not be more different, and using them all the same way is genuinely painful to watch. Water types generally have two weaknesses in Grass and Electric, which is incredibly easy to cover with teammates. They resist Fire, Water, Ice, and Steel. That defensive profile is solid, but it also means water types attract the same counters constantly. Every team has an answer for water types because they are so common. The players who win with water types are the ones who understand each Pokemon's specific role and play around those predictable counters instead of running into them face first. Blastoise is the original water starter that everyone tries to use as an offensive threat when it is actually a solid defensive rapid spin option. Base 100 defense and base 105 special defense with base 85 HP make Blastoise genuinely bulky. Base 83 special attack is decent but nothing special. People slap Hydro Pump and Ice Beam on Blastoise expecting sweeps and then wonder why it gets outsped and worn down. The proper way to use Blastoise is as a rapid spin user that removes hazards while taking hits your team cannot handle. Scald is the water move of choice because the burn chance cripples physical attackers. Rapid spin clears Stealth Rock and Spikes. Toxic wears down bulky threats. Blastoise cannot break. Roar or Dragon Tail shuffles opponents and racks up hazard damage. Blastoise is not sweeping anything. It is keeping your side of the field clean while being annoying to remove. Mega Blastoise is a completely different story in games and formats where Mega Evolution is available. Mega Launcher boosts Pulse moves significantly, making Water Pulse, Dark Pulse, Aura Sphere, and Dragon Pulse all hit harder. Mega Blastoise actually becomes a threatening special attacker with this ability, but people forget to run Pulse moves on Mega Blastoise and then waste the entire point of Mega Launcher. If you are Mega Evolving Blastoise, your moveset needs to change completely from the defensive set. Gyarados is the water type that people constantly misuse by treating it like a special attacker. I see players running Surf and Hydro Pump on Gyarados all the time. Its special attack is base 60. That is awful. Meanwhile, its attack is base 125. Gyarados is a physical attacker with Dragon Dance access, and using special moves on it is genuinely trolling yourself. The proper way to use Gyarados is as a Dragon Dance sweeper that sets up and cleans teams. Waterfall is your physical water stab. Bounce or Fly provides flying coverage and can dodge attacks. Earthquake covers electric types that threaten you. Dragon Dance boosts attack and speed, turning Gyarados into a monster after one or two uses. Intimidate lowers the opponent's attack on switch in, making it easier to find setup opportunities. The mistake people make is setting up Dragon Dance against the wrong threats. Gyarados has a quad weakness to electric. If you try to set up on something with Thunderbolt, you are going to die before you ever attack. Find opportunities against ground types, fighting types, or anything locked into a move Gyarados resists. Then set up and sweep. Timing is everything with Gyarados. Greninja is the water starter that dominated competitive Pokemon so hard it got banned to Uber's and Smogon's competitive format, which is a community rule set decision, not an official Pokemon rule. Protean changes Greninja's type to match whatever move it uses, giving it stab on everything. And people still mess this up by not thinking about the defensive implications of constantly changing types. The proper way to use Greninja is thinking one step ahead about what type you want to be. Hydro Pump for water stab, Ice Beam for grass and dragon coverage, Dark Pulse hits psychic and ghost types, Extrasensory or Grass Knot provides additional coverage. When you use Ice Beam, Greninja becomes Ice type, which means fighting moves now hit super effectively. When you use Dark Pulse, Greninja becomes Dark type, which means Fairy and Fighting hit super effectively. Every attack changes your defensive profile. Battle Bond Greninja was available in Generation 7 and transforms into Ash Greninja after getting a knockout. Water Shuriken becomes significantly stronger and always hits 3 times in that form. This ability is not available in newer games, so if you are playing Scarlet and Violet or later titles, stick with Protean or Torrent. For those playing Gen 7 formats, the mistake is playing too passively. Battle Bond Greninja needs to secure kills to activate its transformation. Swampert is the water and ground starter with only one weakness in grass. That is it. Electric does nothing because of ground typing. People forget how incredible this defensive profile is and try to use Swampert as a fast sweeper when it has base 60 speed. The proper way to use regular Swampert is as a bulky tank that sets Stealth Rock and takes hits. Earthquake and Waterfall provide dual stab. Stealth Rock supports the team. Roar shuffles opponents into hazards. Swampert is not outspeeding anything. but it does not need to. It switches into electric moves for free, tanks most neutral hits, and slowly wears opponents down. Mega Swampert completely changes the game in formats where Mega Evolution is available. Swift Swim double speed in Rain, turning the slowest Pokemon into one of the fastest. Rain Dance support, or Drizzle, from Pelipper is mandatory. Waterfall becomes devastating with Rain Boost and Stab. Earthquake handles electric types. Ice Punch covers grass types. Your only weakness. Mega Swampert in Rain outspeeds almost everything and hits like a truck. Without Rain, Mega Swampert is just a slightly stronger regular Swampert. The Rain support is not optional. Lapras is the water and ice type that everyone tries to use offensively when it is actually a bulky tank with base 130 HP. Base 85 special attack is decent but not threatening. People slap Ice Beam and Surf on Lapras and expect sweeps, then get frustrated when faster Pokemon pick it apart. The proper way to use Lapras is as a bulky support Pokemon that spreads status and takes special hits. Water Absorb gives it water immunity and healing when hit by water moves. Freeze Dry is essential because it hits water types super effectively, unlike normal ice moves. Thunderbolt covers other water types. Heal Bell cures status for the entire team. Lapras is your team's cleric and special tank, not a sweeper. Gigantamax Lapras is a different beast entirely in games and formats where Dynamax is available. G-Max Resonance sets up Aurora Veil, reducing damage from both physical and special attacks for 5 turns without needing Hail. That is incredibly valuable support. The entire point of Gigantamax Lapras is getting that Aurora Veil up for your team, not dealing damage itself. Vaporeon is the evolution that people underestimate because it looks cute and unassuming. Base 130 HP and base 110 special attack make Vaporeon a bulky special attacker that can take hits while dishing out damage. Water Absorb gives it water immunity, and people still try to run physical moves on it for some reason. The proper way to use Vaporeon is as a Wish Passer that heals itself and teammates. Wish heals based on the user's HP, and Vaporeon has massive HP, meaning huge Wish Passes. Protect guarantees, Wish healing for Vaporeon itself. Scald provides Water Stab with Burn Chance, Ice Beam, or Toxic rounds out coverage. Vaporeon switches in, takes hits with its bulk, passes, wishes to teammates, and slowly wears opponents down with Scald Burns. Milotic is the beautiful water type that people forget exists until it walls their entire physical attacking team. Base 95 HP, base 79 defense, and base 125 special defense make Milotic a solid special wall. Marvel Scale boosts defense by 50% when Milotic is statused, making it even bulkier against physical attacks. The proper way to use Milotic is as a defensive wall that uses status to its advantage. Scald burns physical attackers trying to break through, Recover keeps Milotic healthy. Haze removes stat boosts from setup sweepers. Ice Beam provides coverage. The key is that Milotic actually wants to get status sometimes because Marvel Scale activates. A burned Milotic with Marvel Scale has higher defense than its base stats suggest. Stop being afraid of status moves and let them make Milotic stronger. Toxapex is the water and poison type that made everyone hate stall teams. Base 152 defense and base 142 special defense are absurd. People try to break Toxapex with strong attacks and then watch it recover back to full health while their Pokemon slowly dies to poison. The proper way to use Toxapex is accepting that it will never kill anything directly. Toxic poisons everything. Scald burns physical attackers. Recover keeps Toxapex alive forever. Haze stops setup sweepers. Regenerator heals 33% HP when switching out, meaning Toxapex can pivot constantly and stay healthy. Toxapex's job is making the opponent miserable while taking 0 meaningful damage. If you are trying to attack with Toxapex, you have completely missed the point. The mistake people make is leaving Toxapex in against Psychic and Ground types. Earthquake and Psychic moves tear through Toxapex despite its bulk. Know when to switch out. Toxapex walls most of the game but not everything. The Pokemon that counter Toxapex counter it hard. Kingdra is the water and dragon type that used to have only one weakness in dragon before fairy types existed. Now it is weak to both dragon and fairy, but that is still an incredibly solid defensive profile. Dragon and water resists fire, water, and steel while being neutral to almost everything else. Swift, swim, doubles speed and rain, and people still forget Kingdra exists because it is not flashy. The proper way to use Kingdra is on rain teams where Swift Swim turns it into a monster. Hydro Pump with Rain Boost hits incredibly hard. Draco Meteor provides Dragon Stab for nuking resistant targets. Ice Beam covers other dragons. Hurricane gets perfect accuracy in rain. Kingdra outspeeds almost everything in rain and has the coverage to hit whatever switches in. Without rain, Kingdra is painfully slow at base 85. Speed. The rain support is mandatory, not optional. Primarina is the water and fairy starter with one of the best type combinations in the game. Dragon immunity from fairy typing is huge. Resisting, fighting, dark, fire, water, Ice, and Bug makes Primarina incredibly easy to switch in. People underrate Primarina because it is slow, but base 126 special attack hits hard. The proper way to use Primarina is as a bulky special attacker that comes in on resisted hits and fires off powerful moves. Sparkling Aria is its signature water stab that removes burns from any targeted hits. Moonblast provides Fairy Stab. Psychic covers poison types. Energy Ball handles other water types. Primarina is not outspeeding anything at base 60 speed, but it does not need to when it tanks, hits, and two-shots most threats. The mistake is trying to make Primarina fast with Choice Scarf. It is still slow, even with Scarf. Accept the bulk, invest in HP and special attack, and use Primarina to break walls instead of sweep. Choice Specs makes way more sense than Choice Scarf on this Pokemon. Quagsire is the water and ground type that people laugh at until it walls their entire team. Unaware ignores all stat boosts from the opponent, meaning setup sweepers do nothing to Quagsire. That Swords Dance Garchomp with +4 attack? Quagsire sees it as base attack. People forget this ability exists and then rage quit when their boosted sweeper cannot break through. The proper way to use Quagsire is as a dedicated counter to setup sweepers. Scald burns, physical attackers. Earthquake provides ground stab. Recover keeps Quagsire healthy. Toxic wears down bulky threats. Quagsire switches into boosted threats, ignores their boosts completely, and either walls them forever or forces them out. The Quad Grass weakness means any grass move deletes Quagsire instantly, so never let it see a grass type. But against anything without grass coverage, Quagsire is a brick wall. Pelipper is the water and flying type that became essential for rain teams when it got Drizzle as a hidden ability. Automatic rain on switch and sets up swift swim sweepers and boosts water moves by 50%. People forget that Pelipper is not just a rain setter, it is actually useful after setting rain too. The proper way to use Pelipper is as a defensive pivot that repeatedly sets rain throughout the match. U-turn maintains momentum while bringing in swift swim sweepers safely. Roost keeps Pelipper healthy for multiple rain resets. Scald provides water stab with burn chance. Hurricane gets perfect accuracy in rain and hits hard. Pelipper switches in, sets rain, U-turns to a sweeper, and comes back later to reset rain when it ends. That cycle wins games. Dracovish is the water and dragon fossil that broke competitive Pokemon with one move. Vicious Wren doubles in power if Dracovish moves first. With Strong Jaw boosting it further and stab on top, Vicious Wren from a Choice Scarf Dracovish hits harder than almost any move in the game, and people still mess it up by not ensuring Dracovish moves first. The proper way to use Dracovish is maximizing Vicious Wren damage. Choice Scarf ensures you outspeed most threats and get the doubled power. Choice Band hits even harder when you are already faster. Rain boosts Vicious Wren another 50% on top of everything else. Psychic Fangs breaks screens. Crunch provides dark coverage. Low Kick hits steel types. The entire game plan is clicking Vicious Wren until something dies, then clicking it again. The mistake is bringing Dracovish in against faster threats without Choice Scarf. If Dracovish moves second, Vicious Wren loses its doubled power bonus and becomes much less threatening. Speed control is everything. Either run Scarf yourself or use Tailwind and Sticky Web support. Slow Dracovish is ineffective Dracovish. Azumarill is the water and fairy type that looks adorable and then deletes half your team with huge power. Huge power doubles Azumarill's actual attack stat in battle, turning its otherwise mediocre attack into a terrifying offensive threat. Add that to decent bulk and fairy typing, and Azumarill becomes a physical powerhouse that people constantly underestimate. The proper way to use Azumarill is Belly Drum sweeping when you can safely set up, or Choice Band wall breaking when you cannot. Belly Drum maxes attack in one turn at the cost of half HP. Aqua Jet provides priority to bypass Azumarill's terrible speed after Belly Drum. Play Rough is Fairy Stab. Superpower or Knockoff provides coverage. Citrus Berry can help offset Belly Drum HP loss. The mistake is using Belly Drum against teams with priority moves or bulky resists that survive Aqua Jet. You cut your HP in half for a boost that does not matter if you die before attacking. Belly Drum is for late game when threats are weakened and nothing outspeeds you. Choice Band is for early game wall breaking. Know which set your team needs. Slowbro is the water and psychic type that walls physical attackers into oblivion. Base 110, defense with regenerator healing 33% on switch out, makes Slowbro incredibly hard to wear down. People try to use Slowbro as a special attacker because of its base 100 special attack, ignoring that its real value is physical defense. The proper way to use Slowbro is as a physical wall that pivots constantly. Scald burns physical attackers trying to break through. Psyshock hits specially defensive Pokemon with physical damage. Slack Off provides instant recovery. Teleport with negative priority lets Slowbro take a hit and then safely bring in a teammate. The Regenerator and Teleport combination means Slowbro is almost always healthy. Switch it in, take a hit, teleport out, heal with regenerator, repeat forever. Gastrodon is the water and ground type with Storm Drain, which redirects single target water moves to Gastrodon and gives it a special attack boost when hit. In doubles formats especially, Gastrodon draws water attacks away from teammates while getting free boosts. Note that spread moves like Surf are not redirected, only single target attacks. People use Gastrodon in singles without realizing its best role is doubles support. The proper way to use Gastrodon in doubles is next to Pokemon that hate water moves. Fire types love Gastrodon redirecting Surfs away from them. Gastrodon takes the water hit, gets a special attack boost, and fires back with boosted Earth Power or Scald. Recover keeps it healthy. Ice Beam covers grass types, protects scouts, attacks, and stalls for partner positioning. Gastrodon is not the star of the team. It is the bodyguard that makes the stars shine. Palafin is the newest water type that confused everyone with its 0 to hero ability. Base form Palafin is pathetically weak with base 70 attack. Hero form Palafin has base 160 attack, which is among the highest in the game. People forget the form change only happens when Palafin switches out and back in, and then they leave base form Palafin in expecting damage. The proper way to use Palafin is switching in, immediately switching out to trigger hero form, and then switching back in as hero form. This sounds tedious because it is. Palafin essentially takes 2 turns to become usable. Once in hero form, Jet Punch is priority water stab that hits incredibly hard. Wave Crash is main water stab. Close Combat covers steel types. Ice Punch handles grass and dragon. The payoff is massive damage, but the setup is annoying. Teams need to support Palafin switching with pivots like U-turn and Volt Switch. Urshifu Rapid Strike is the water and fighting legendary with Unseen Fist, which makes contact moves bypass protect. Surging Strikes is its signature move that always lands critical hits 3 times. Critical hits ignore defense boosts and screens. This combination makes Urshifu incredibly hard to wall, and people still try to protect against it for some reason. The proper way to use Urshifu Rapid Strike is aggressive offense that ignores many common defensive tools. Surging Strikes breaks through many defensive options, but it still has clear counters in bulky, water resists, and fairy types. Close Combat provides fighting stab. Aqua Jet gives priority for picking off weakened threats. U-turn maintains momentum when facing counters. Choice Band makes Surging Strikes hit incredibly hard. The entire game plan is clicking Surging Strikes and watching things fall. The mistake is bringing Urshifu into fairy types or bulky grass types without support. Surging Strikes is resisted by water, and Urshifu cannot muscle through dedicated counters. Know what beats Urshifu and remove those threats with teammates before bringing it in to sweep. Water types are the most common type in Pokemon, which means knowing how to use them properly gives you an advantage in almost every battle. Defensive waters like Toxapex and Slowbro wall physical threats and spread status. Swift swim sweepers like Kingdra and Mega Swampert need rain support but become terrifying under it. Setup sweepers like Gyarados and Azumarill need safe opportunities to boost. Pivot waters like Pelipper and Gastrodon support teammates while providing utility. Stop treating every water type like a surf bot. Learn what role each one actually fills, build your moveset around that specific strength, and cover their weaknesses with teammates. Grass and electric counters are everywhere because water types are everywhere. The players who succeed with water types are the ones who play around those counters instead of running into them. Do that, and you will finally understand why water is the most successful type across every generation of competitive Pokemon.